So here's my thing. I think that just showing up is all that matters. I think that that is the vast majority of the battle that you're going to be facing. And the thing is that when you show up, you're not going to know what to do. There's going to be no clear answers. And everything is going to feel like foreign. You're going to feel like an outsider. You're going to feel all of these negative emotions where you feel like you just don't fit in. Like all of these things that you think about, or you don't know what you're doing. Like all of these things, all these excuses that you hear people say with anything. I mean, that is what everybody feels like when they start up and they do something. And it doesn't matter how old they are. You know, all of these sort of responses that you hear is just people not believing in themselves ultimately. And if they knew that, you know, the majority of the battle is just doing it, of just saying, hey, I'm actually going to work through this. And I know that I'm going to have all of these negative emotions. And I know at my spot in my life, I am going to be at this stage. And I'm going to be behind everybody else, or seemingly behind. You know, if you just show up and you do that and you realize like, hey, this is me and this is my characteristics and this is what it means to be me, then I think you'll be okay, right? I think you'll actually do it and you'll actually get going. But I think everybody kind of gets like in their head, they start sort of doing these comparisons and they think like, oh, somebody else is so much further ahead. Or they think that, you know, that there is these certain ways, or it's supposed to look sort of professional. You hear that one often, right? Like, this is not going to be professional. But, you know, those things, when you say it's not going to be professional, that's just like, this is the way that I've sort of thought about it. And this has been a really important thing that allowed me to get past things. And I still feel that way, but I just think, hey, this is me. This is my personal characteristics. These are not shortfalls. This is not being a beginner. This is just me doing my thing. And I'm okay with that. And when you like sort of voice these things and you talk about them, you're like, ooh, this feels weird, or it doesn't feel good, but it's just ultimately like who you are. That's like your thing, right? So I stutter. I never feel like I should, right? I never feel professional, no matter how professional I get. I never feel that way. And it's just me being me. And, you know, if you sort of come to terms with that, you'll keep getting up and you'll keep trying and you'll sort of keep working at it. And when you sort of forget about that and you think like, hey, I have to be professional, I have to look a certain way, or I have to have certain equipment, or, you know, I can't stutter, or, you know, any number of different things, or I can't get upset, is when you're gonna like not do it. And, you know, the challenging part that we all face is just getting up and doing whatever you name the thing, or you name whatever it is, a sport, you know, doing any artistic thing that's different. And then, you know, most of us are so scared to do it publicly, which is me. Like, I don't like public speaking in any sort of way, that, you know, well, we'd rather sort of be in our own, you know, bedroom talking about things rather than actually doing it. And I want you to sort of think about that, is like, why is it that we feel so afraid of these things? And yeah, people are going to make fun of you, like they do. But it's on them. Every time I see, now that I'm sort of more public, and I see negative comments, however that looks, I think, oh gosh, I feel so sorry that you're feeling that way, because that's on them. That's their thing that's going on. And I get upset. And, but then I get going and I say, hey, the only thing that I have is I'm just going to get going and I'm going to try. So, I was learning a language and I'm recording what that looks like to learn a language. I'm trying to learn Italian. And I'm using the tool that's at my fingertips because it's easy enough for me. Duolingo, it works. And, you get little lessons. It's not the best, right? There's better things that are out there, but it's working for me. And I'm learning a few things here and there as I go. And, I posted something, I had this negative comment that what I was doing was not right. I should have been doing something else. And I think in my head, I'm like, I feel so sorry for you because you're not going to be able to start something ever because you think there's all of these barriers in your head. It has to be sort of perfect and everything has to be put together and you have to be organized and you have to do things right. And that is just your own insecurities. When I hear that, this is the right way to do things, I just feel so sorry because those people have such a tortured life inside and they can't sort of get past that there's no right way. It's doing it is better than anything else, right? I think about that. I had this swim coach, and I really like him dearly, and he would always sort of, say, oh, I was not going the fastest. This is like when I was, just like last year. And then I say, look how many other people are out here that are my age, that are 43 years old, still doing this. And there's nobody. And once you put it into context, everything is good. Everything is fine. And you could look at anything and people have all sorts of excuses because of how they do it. And, they'd rather watch on the sidelines and sort of have all of this stuff, right? Like I think about that is like the number of people that will watch a football game and there's millions and millions, 1 billion people watch the Super Bowl. They're all watching how many people actually play. And when you play, you realize it's a different thing. It's a different beast. And I want you to think about that as you go about your day is what is it that I could do? And I frame it in a different way. And then if somebody says something, man, they have a tortured life because they're sitting there on the sidelines. They have no idea what it actually takes and what it's about. And once you realize that, you say, hey, I'm okay. And I'm the only one that's doing this. That's amazing. That's when you jump up and down, you say, I'm doing it. And that's what it is. It never feels right, but you just keep going.